Hey, this is Jessica and Orchid. Here he is. And today I am going to do a video on companions for your Betta. I got this request from Ethan Baltzer. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your name properly. Where did Orchid go? There he is down there. So your Betta doesn't have to have a companion. Don't think he's lonely. He's not. He is quite happy being alone. But if you want to add things to your tank, you are limited. But we will talk about it. It also depends on the size of the tank. You can't really have much if you have like a 5-gallon or especially under a 5-gallon. You can't usually do much. But first I would like to talk about snails. There is here's a picture. This is the apple snail. This is a blue one. I didn't think there was blue ones. That's a blue one. Sorry for the glare. And we'll go down, and that is like your stereotypical golden apple snail. They are quite big though, and they produce a lot of waste actually, more than people think. So they're not really suitable for anything under like 5 gallons, but you can still do an apple snail. Good thing about them is they don't usually reproduce unless there's 2 of them. A better idea for snails, oh, and they also, a good point is the apple snails, they eat plants. So if you have a planted tank, they will wreck your plants. It's not a good idea. A better choice for snails is the nearite, and the most common is the zebra nearite. There it is. They're smaller, they don't have as large bioload, they eat algae better than the apple snail, and they don't eat plants. So your plants will be fine. They also can't reproduce at all unless they're in brackish water, which is like semi-salt. So of course if you have a 10-gallon you can do like a few snails. If you have a 5-gallon I'd probably do like 1. Anything under I probably wouldn't do any. If you have like a 3-gallon you could probably get away with like a nearite. Definitely wouldn't do the apple snail. Pond snails I'll show you briefly just because it's not usually something people want. It's more of a pest. Very plain looking. Usually they'll be on plants, so if you have pond snails, it's probably because you recently got plants, live plants, and they're on there. I have some of these in my spec. What I do is I get rid of them. I'm sorry if that, like, I throw them out. Like, I kill them. Because they are definitely high breeders. You don't want them. So the second I see one on my glass, I take it out. I haven't seen any big ones, they're all babies. So yeah, another thing you can do is shrimp. There's shrimp on this website, so I can stay on this page. A lot of people do ghost shrimp with bettas because they are clear. They're also very cheap usually at pet stores. But shrimp is either like a 50-50 chance. Either your betta's going to eat them, and there's no point of having them, or your betta will be fine. You won't know until you try, so you might as well try with a cheap shrimp, which is like a ghost shrimp. They do need to be more than 1, so that's another thing you have to think about. Is your tank big enough to house a betta plus like 3 of these, or 4? They are social, they like to be in groups. They will eat algae. You'll need algae wafers or shrimp pellets or a mixture of both for them. But they will also eat like leftover food from your betta, but I don't know any bettas that leave leftover food. They're pigs. There's another shot of the ghost shrimp. Another one that I've seen people have in their betta tanks are amano shrimp, because they're also like a clear. They eat algae even better than the other shrimps. They get a little bit bigger. But like I said, your betta might eat them. You can do any other type of shrimp you'd like, but I wouldn't have like a colorful shrimp in my tank, so my betta would probably, notice it easier. You're also going to want a lot of plants in the tank with shrimp and hiding spots for the shrimp so it can run away from the betta. Because shrimps are very fast, so they can get away from them if they have to. Oh, and just like and with the snails, you do have to feed snails. They can't usually just live off of algae unless your tank is full of it. You're going to want algae wafers. You can also use cucumber, like blanch it. They'll eat that. Most people who do shrimp have at least 5 gallons, and they'll get a few. Shrimps can also reproduce quickly, so but your betta might just eat the babies, who knows. Another good fish to do is the corridoras catfish. A lot of people do these. The most common one I know I've seen is like the panda cory. That's this picture. I'm trying to get the glare off of it. They are bottom dwellers. They stay at the bottom of your tank. They eat algae wafers. I think they'll also eat like leftover food, but like I said, bettas don't usually leave leftover food. They can also eat shrimp pellets that are good for them. They need hiding spots. You need 10 gallons for them because you need a school of them. You need at least 3. They are social. Dwarf one is also a good idea because they stay small. They stay to 1 inch. So, depending on your filtration, you might be able to get away with the pygmy ones in like a 5 gallon. But you have to remember you're going to have a betta plus like 3 of these guys. So that could be difficult. And there's also the auto cincular catfish. There he is. Again, these are schooling fish. Most small fish are schooling fish. So you need at least 3 of them. They're also bottom dwelling. They also eat algae wafers and all that, and algae off the tank. A lot of people have these too, and they say, you know, they basically ignore the betta, and usually your betta will ignore it. You do have to see if your betta will accept them. Sometimes bettas will chase around other fish in their tank. They just won't accept anything. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how peaceful it is. They just won't accept it. So be aware of that, and be prepared to either take out the betta or take out the new fish you just added. There's also African dwarf frogs. They're very cute. Those are tiny little frogs. They are also social. You usually need at least 2. So you want at least a 10-gallon tank. They do breathe air though. They're aquatic, but they breathe air, so they need access to the top of the tank for air. So it's helpful to have a couple of floating plants so you can use that to rest on, whether it's fake or real. They eat, you can give them like frog pellets. They really like frozen bloodworms, but a lot of times you have to actually feed the frog, because frogs, they're slow and the betta will eat up all the food. So you'll probably need like long tweezers so you can actually give that frog his bloodworms. You have to put it like right in front of his face for him to eat it. They're pretty easy to take care of. They don't like high filtration. They're very, very sensitive to water vibration, so which is, you know, similar to a betta, but you know, a lot of bettas can't put up with this filtration, so that shouldn't be a problem. And if you're interested in these frogs, make sure it's the African dwarf frog, or ADF. There is a clawed frog that some people will pass off as the ADF, but they get bigger and they're aggressive. There's another picture. You can look this up yourself too. I just looked up each species online. Oh, there's a better picture actually. Ooh. They also need a lot of hiding spots, which you can just use like these terracotta pots. They like to hide and then come out. They stay at the bottom usually unless they're coming up for air. They are escapists though, so you need to make sure you do have a top for your tank. Another one is neon tetras. Some people say that it won't work because they are fin nippers. But the thing with neon tetras is you have to make sure you have a school of at least 5. The more the better with neon tetras, so you're going to want at least like, with a betta I wouldn't do like you'd want a 10-gallon tank, so you can do like a bunch of neons plus the betta. If there's enough neons, the neons won't attack the betta, at least they shouldn't. I'd be more worried about the other way around, the betta chasing them away and chasing them around since they're so small. But people have had success with it. Another one that is you have to be careful about is rasboras. They also need a school of at least 6. So if you don't have enough of a schooling fish, then that is when they can start nipping at the betta, because they're trying to make the betta part of their school. There's also the cherry barb, which is the same thing, and it's only the cherry barb. You don't want any other type of barb, just the cherry barb. And it is also a schooling fish, so you want at least 5 or 6. The more the better. The more of a school they have, the more they'll just stick to themselves. Show Orchid again. He's showing off. Some people have done loaches, but I looked up loaches and they get quite big. So you probably would want maybe even bigger than a 10-gallon. Like a 20 community tank at that point. Which then you could do like, and loaches are also social, so you need like at least 3 of those. But if you have a big enough tank, you could do loaches and then, your betta, maybe some other fish mixed in with it. And yeah, that's about all I can think of. Those are the most, classic fish and things that people add with their bettas. Of course, like I said, you never know. The betta might not accept anything in this tank. You definitely don't want to put another betta with a betta. I know it sounds silly, but I've seen this where people are like, oh, I put both my bettas together, and it's like, wow, okay. Even adding a female with a male is a no-no, unless only for breeding purposes. So you have to be careful, and you have to think about the size of your tank. If you want a tank that has more than just a betta in it, go with a 10-gallon. It's usually the easiest way to do it. But yeah, that's just a short video on, well, not that short, 12 minutes, showing you what you can add with your betta, what might be acceptable. But it all depends on your fish. And if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. And thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and bye-bye.